Alright, shalawam. First off, I want to say all praises to Yahawah, bahasham, Yahawashi, bahasham, Kodash, double honors to our apostles and elders of GMS, and to the elect doing the work in sincerity and in truth, shalawam. GMS precepts here on Zar Khud. And yeah, you can see the title. This is from CNBC.com. It seems like every few months I'm always doing a show on this about massive stores closing. This is an article where it says Macy's to close 125 stores. Cut 2,000 corporate jobs and hunt for growth. Okay, so this is an ongoing trend with not only Macy's but a lot of retail stores. Matter of fact, the other article I have here, I'll get to it in a minute. Where is it? Here it is. It says this is from Business Insider. More than 2,200 stores are closing in 2020 as the retail apocalypse drags on. Here's a full list. They're calling it the retail apocalypse. Okay, why? Because this is a job. These stores are closing down at a apocalyptic level. Okay, all right. But when you turn on the news, you hear of there's the economy is such. And there's a surplus of jobs and the economy is doing so well, but yet you have all these stores closing down, and I'll get to the list in a minute. This one, like I said, this is Macy's. It says 125 department stores are closing over the next 3 years. It is cutting 2,000 corporate jobs in hopes of saving, I think it says up to 1.5 billion, right? It says beginning in 2020, it said it expects to generate annual gross savings of about 1.5 billion. Excuse me, which will be fully realized by the end of 2022. This year, Macy's is anticipating gross savings of around 600 million, some of which will flow to the bottom line in order to stabilize operating markets. So these companies, they have to strategize. They're like, look, man, these stores are not making the money that they're making. And now I know a lot of it goes, I know a lot of it involves with people shopping online. But the point is that there's still a loss of jobs. All those people that used to work at the malls, they used to work at these stores, are not all working for Amazon now. All those people are still left jobless. Okay. I read this article. More than 2,200 stores are closing in 2020. Retail apocalypse. Pier 1, and here's a list. Pier 1, Sears, Earth Fare, Forever 21, Walgreens are among the retailers that are planning to close stores this year. And I'm going to just scroll down. Hold on, let me just read this. More than 9,300 stores were announced. Store closings were announced in the U.S. in 2019, smashing the previous record of roughly 8,000 store closures in 2017, according to an analysis. The number of store closures this year could be even higher. Look at that. Than previous records, according to the estimates from the real estate firm Cushman & Wakefield. The firm estimated last year that as many as 12,000 major chain stores could close in 2020. I like that number, 12,000, right? That's a spiritual number, 12,000 from each tribe, right? 12,000 major chain stores could close in 2020. Retailers have so far confirmed at least 2,200 stores slated for closure in 2020. Let's look at some of these stores. It says Pier 1 Imports, 450 stores. That's a lot of stores in 1 year. Papyrus, 254. Gap, okay, 230. Walgreens, 200. And the list goes on and on. Chico's, I'll put this article in the description. But when I remember, Forever 21, 178. Okay. Okay. So I mean, look, Destination Maternity, 108. So yeah, that's pretty much the point here, man. You got a lot of stores closing, man. And what does that go into? That goes into prophecy, right? Because that's what we do. We go online, and what do? We search for prophecy, right? This is Drudge Report. This is where I found an article. Okay. And there was another article. Here it is. It's biblical plague destroying crops across the Middle East. Okay, because that's the job, man. The job of a prophet, or one that reads the scriptures. Well, what did the Lord say to do? The Lord said to watch and pray, man. Okay, the Lord, meaning who the word ignorantly refers to as Jesus Christ. All right. Matter of fact, let me get a scripture before I read that. This is Revelation, the 19th chapter. This is Revelation 19:10. It says, "And I fell at his feet to worship him, and he said unto me, See thou do it not. I am thy fellow servant, and of thy brethren that have the testimony of" who? Yahawashi. Worship the Most High. Worship Yahawah. For the testimony of Yahawashi is what? Is the spirit of prophecy. So that's what one who follows Yahawashi, who follows who the word ignorantly refers to as Jesus, they're into prophecy. Why? Because the spirit of Yahawashi is the spirit of prophecy. So that's what one should be concerned with. Now, why should one be concerned with prophecy? Prophecy lets you know when the return of Yahawashi is going to come, when the Lord is going to deliver his elect. That's why that's why he always stressed prophecy. That's why he always, he constantly sat down with the apostles, with the 12, and told them of things that would happen prior to his return. And one of the things that are going to happen is what? Let me get that. All these massive store closings, man. Okay. Let me get that in Ecclesiastes. It seems like I always go into this, but hey, we're in that time, right? So it says, this is Ecclesiastes, the 12th chapter. I'll start at the 3rd verse. In that day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders cease. The grinders cease because they are few, and those that look out of their windows shall be darkened. Now those keepers of the house shall tremble. That's talking about the elites, man. All their plans, if it was up to them, they would establish their new world order in the year 2000. All right, so here we are 20 years later. They would have, if it was up to them, they would establish their new world order, and they would have already mandated the microchip or RFID chip. They would have taken over the Middle East by now. All right, but things aren't going according to their plan right now. Little do they know it's according to the Most High's plan. Okay, so right now they're trembling right now. Okay, and it says what? And the grinders shall cease. That's the point I wanted to focus on. The grinders shall cease. What is a grinding? A grinding represents a working. Okay, and the grinder shall cease. Why? Because there are few. Okay, and it says, and those that look out of their window shall be darkened, meaning those that looking into the future. I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. Guess what? All your plans aren't coming to pass. All right? Why? Because what's coming to pass pretty soon is a return of the Lord and the deliverance of Israel. But who are you so-called Negroes that tunes the Native Americans? But prior to that, there's going to be a grand awakening. There's going to be a separation happening. Okay? The ones that follow the Lord, the ones that come back to their heritage and nationality, and the ones that reject their heritage and nationality. And all the heathens, they're just the background. Okay? Alright? It says, and the doors shall be shut in the streets when the sound of the grinding is low, and he shall rise up to the voice of the bird, and all the daughters of music shall be brought low. And that's happening now. It says, and the doors shall be shut in the streets. Excuse me, when the grinding is low. And and what's the grinding low? Look at this. Now I don't know if this is a picture of a real mall, but that's crazy, man. Okay? This looks like something out of a movie. Okay? This represents the grinding low, and it's just going to get worse and worse and worse and worse. All right? All right, so that's pretty much it. I think I made the point here. These massive store closings, where's the article? It said that this year it's going to get worse. Every year it gets worse. Let me see. Okay, in 2017 it was 8,000 stores. 2019 it was 9,300 stores, In 2020, it's projected to be 12,000 stores closures in 2020. So that's a increase of every year, man. Okay? All right? Lord willing, this be the year, man. Lord willing, this be the year of the Lord's return. All right, that's pretty much it. Lord willing, you brothers are edified. Until the next show, shalom.